Everyone knows you can read on a Kindle. Almost nobody knows that you can screenshot it. Tap two opposite corners at the same time. If someone else in your house has a Kindle, Amazon Household lets you read their library for free and them yours. And get this, every highlight you've ever made on your Kindle is saved on a browser, read.amazon.com/notebook. And it's there whether you knew it or not. That's 3, and there's 97 more of those to come, all within 15 minutes. We're gonna start with basic, then pro, and then master skill level for your Kindle. It's roughly 1 in every 9 seconds, so it's gonna be moving pretty quick. The first 29 are ones that some of you will already know, so I'll move through them quickly. If you're looking for the fastest way to change your font size, it's not to go to the menu, but it's actually to just pinch on the screen. The text will immediately change depending on how you pinch, and it's just like doing this on your smartphone. Swap the font entirely. Bookily, Amazon Ember, Helvetica. This is one of those simple tricks that really does make the Kindle feel personalized to you. Push the boldness up if the text feels too light for you. This one can particularly help people that suffer from eye strain when reading. Open or close your line spacing. Some people like this wider to let each line really breathe, or closer together that's gonna fit more onto every single page. Widen or narrow your margins. Maybe you like your text tight in the middle, or spread across the page. The choice becomes yours. You can also change your text position from justified to left aligned text. Then when you found those perfect font settings, save them as a theme. You can switch between any of those themes with 1 or 2 taps. Turn on dark mode if you love that experience of white text on a black background. Adjust your warmth setting because this is the one that will save your eyes at night. While you're there, adjust your brightness manually. Or you can always let auto brightness do it for you. And if you like not having to worry about these settings, then schedule the warmth to come on all by itself. If you get too much ghosting, turn on page refresh for a redraw every single page. Depending on what you like, you can turn page animations on or off. I have to be honest, this one isn't really for me, but I see so much love for it in the comments. There's also the option to turn your Kindle into landscape mode. I'm still trying to find a best use case for this one, but I've been told it works well for magazines and certain PDFs. Plus, you can lock the rotation so it never moves. Make sure you turn clock on so you never lose track of time when you're reading. This one's especially useful if you're anything like me and try to cram reading into every possible moment you can, even when it's probably the wrong time to do so. If that's also you, let me know in the comments. Now, back to those final basic tricks, which is all about how we position ourselves inside of a book on our Kindle. You can also jump to any location number. And while you're there, you can also do the same for page number 2, or go straight to a specific chapter or part of the book from the contents. Swipe up from the bottom of your Kindle for the page flip feature. Then you can go on and read ahead without actually losing your place in the book. Tap the bottom left corner of your display to change what your progress shows. Tap the top right corner to add a bookmark to a page, and then go and access all of your bookmarks from one place. You can use the dots in page flip mode to snap straight back to where you were in the book. While you're here, you can also scrub the bar at the bottom to move fast through the book. Then the final basic trick is to sync to the furthest you read on any device. So now we get into the pro tricks, and it gets really good from here. Starting with create a collection, which gives you a tidy way of organizing all of your books. This is great at any stage of Kindle library, but I would say it becomes especially important when your library grows and maybe you have hundreds of books, because then it's your tool for being able to sort and organize those books and find them immediately, which saves you so much time. And an extra tip here would always be, if you're starting with a smaller Kindle library right now, then start collections early, because it makes such a difference. You can long press on any book to add it to a collection. Plus, one book can sit as many collections as you want. Inside your library, you can actually filter by downloaded, read, or unread, as well as being able to sort by recent, title, author surname, and the publication date. I tend to stick with sorting by titles, but occasionally it can be useful to organize by authors. Then depending what you like, you can switch between grid or list view. And if you can't find a book in your library, you can always use the search bar at the top. But hopefully, if you start using collections, you won't have to rely on this trick too often. If you don't want a book in your library anymore, you can delete it, but it will stay on your Amazon account in the cloud. From time to time, you might want to have a look at the storage available on your Kindle device, because it might actually surprise you that there's not a lot of space being taken up if you only read books. The time that your storage tends to be eaten up more by the data you put on your Kindle is if you download lots and lots of audiobooks. You can also mark a book as read or unread, which is ideal because the automatic system isn't perfect. At the moment on the book I'm reading, Ultra Processed People, every single time that I jump to the footnotes, the Kindle marks the book as read. So I have to manually overturn that and put it back to unread. So this is definitely a trick that's worth knowing. Inside of books, you can press and hold to highlight passages. Highlights might sound basic, but the pro Kindle users use this feature to actively engage with every book they read, and it can massively help with retention. On the Coloursoft, Scribe Coloursoft, or the Kindle app, you get multiple colours to choose when highlighting. On newer devices, you can underline or outline a passage rather than the standard filling it in by highlighting. Then you're able to add a note to any particular highlight or point in the book. Try to drop your thoughts in these notes. And I find this really useful on my Scribe, just jotting down some notes at the end of every reading session, or drop a pin on the passage. A bookmark saves the page, but a pin actually saves the specific location in the book. Then your annotations page saves every one of these, so it's saved for later. To take your retention to the next level, plan time to visit this page, and when you're there, really engage with the annotations that you've made. It can be so interesting to go back and see what annotations you made on certain books, especially the more books you do this with on your Kindle. You can also email yourself all of the highlights you've made from a book. Turn off popular highlights if other people's highlights are annoying you. I know for me, this is a feature that I can find distracting, so I've turned mine off. If you no longer need a highlight, you can always delete it. This could be useful if maybe you've highlighted something by mistake, or potentially you're looking back over your highlights and you just feel like something doesn't resonate with you like it did when you first made that highlight. I've definitely had occasions when I look back through my notes and I just think to myself, I wonder why I actually highlighted that, because it maybe just doesn't hit me in the same way it did when I made it. Inside of a book, you can press and hold on any word and get its definition. To help you identify those tricky words, you can also turn on Wordwise, which gives you hints above the words you might not know. You can then dial those word hints up or down depending on what works best for your reading. As you do all this, make sure to enable Vocabulary Builder. What it does is it captures all those words that you're looking up and stores them for later. And when you go into the Vocabulary Builder itself, you can turn those words into a flashcard to test yourself on the definitions. Whenever you've learnt those words and they're fully sticking, then mark it as mastered. The words inside your Vocabulary Builder can be sorted by books, words, so alphabetical or chronological, and also by language. If you spot any words in here that are there by mistake, just delete them. You can change your default dictionary, or if you want to, you can start adding other dictionaries to your Kindle. Then you can translate a word or a passage if you're not sure what it means. These features are so useful, especially for anyone who's looking to learn a foreign language. But I also find it's good if you read a book and the author's actually concealed the translation, because sometimes it's part of the mystique of the book you're reading, because the character doesn't know that language, and therefore the author assumes you don't know that language either. And so when the words are put down, you're not actually supposed to understand what's been said. But every now and again, that happens to me, and I find myself wanting to know what the translation is. And that's when this tool can be really handy. If you're looking up a word, you can also pull the Wikipedia entry from the same menu. And for everything you need to know about the book you're reading, the characters, the places, then X-ray is the place to go for that. If you want to find something specific in what you're reading, you can search from inside the book, or search the entire Kindle store from the same bar. These next ones are when your Kindle stops just being a device that you use to read books you bought from Amazon. Starting with every Kindle device having its own email address. And that means that you can send documents and files directly to your device for reading. Or instead of email, you can use the Send to Kindle desktop app. You can drop files directly into the app and it will send them to your Kindle. There's a browser extension too, so you can send articles from online directly to your Kindle. If you prefer, you can plug in your Kindle and transfer documents over USB. Some people might actually like this option to get to see exactly what data and files live on your Kindle. And if your Kindle doesn't show up on your computer's directory, then the Send to Kindle desktop app has a solution for that by using the USB file manager. Plugging your Kindle in is also the only way to sideload your own fonts to make your Kindle truly yours. Google Fonts has hundreds of fonts which you can download for free, and it's definitely worth looking through. PDFs open natively, and they can be so much better than reading them on your phone or on a PC. If you like to listen to audiobooks, you can also connect Bluetooth headphones or speakers to your Kindle. That also allows you to switch between reading and listening on the same device. If you jump between more than one device, WhisperSync keeps your play seamlessly across everything. This alone is worth knowing about, so that you don't waste any time trying to find where you got to in your book on a different device. If you like to read and listen at the same time, like I do, then the read and listen feature on the app is the place to go. Within this feature, you can see the text actually being highlighted as it's read by the author. It's a lot of fun too if you can pick up a book where the story's actually acted out with different actors. If you share libraries, make sure to check out what other people in your household are reading too. From my experience, this actually takes my enjoyment of reading to a whole nother level, because I'm actually getting to talk about the books that I've read with other people who've also read it too, and connect everything you read to Goodreads for that extra social experience. Set your current book cover as your lock screen for even more customization. This can definitely make your Kindle feel more premium than having the ads. And if you're lucky enough to have a book with a great cover, it's just another part of the experience of reading on this device. And if you currently have ads, you can pay to remove these forever. If you want to shut the world out and just focus on the reading, then airplane mode is a great solution for that. It's also a secret trick to get even more battery life out of your Kindle, because the device isn't having to pull data from online. Every now and again, it can be useful to restart your Kindle properly, rather than just putting it into sleep all the time. If any of my Kindles begin to feel slower than normal, I find a quick restart always improves their performance. For extra privacy, make sure to set up a passcode so all your data and information is protected. If you're on the move a lot, this also gives you peace of mind just in case your Kindle did go missing, especially if you do have any sensitive information on your device. If you ever leave your Kindle on the side and you want to come back to it and read straight away, then make sure to change your sleep timer. It can go all the way up to 1 hour of inactivity before it will go into sleep mode. Check for software updates manually. Amazon aren't always the best at pushing out these updates to every device. Before I started checking this regularly, I was sometimes getting updates months after they were first released. Turn off device usage collection data if you don't want to be targeted with specific marketing to you. But just know, this will mean you miss out on Amazon sending you specific book offers, which is something I have actually benefited from in the past. If you have Kindles for your children, then you can also set up parental controls just to give you that extra level of protection. There's also a full web browser on your Kindle that most people don't know about. And if you haven't seen it already, check out einkgames.com, the website I built specifically for Kindle users to be able to play chess for free online. And you can actually bookmark web pages so you can always come back to it later. And I definitely recommend a certain chess website for one of those bookmarks. The last 10 are for Scribe users. And the first of these is Quick Notes. This is a page that you can open directly from the home screen. It enables you to get straight into writing. When you're on a book, you can write directly onto the page. This gives you the ease of being able to scribble down any thoughts immediately, rather than having to open up a note from the menu. A fairly recent update added the ability to make shapes. All you have to do is draw the rough outline of a shape and then hold your pen in place at the end. The shape will then snap into a neater placement, and I find myself using this way more than I expected. Once you've written something, you can then convert your handwriting into typed text. This has made such a difference for converting my work notes on my Scribe into text, so then I can just quickly summarize them and place them into documents on my laptop. The latest Kindle Scribes also give the option to search through your handwritten notes. And with that, you can also ask the AI agent questions about the notes you've written. Make sure to connect your Google Drive or your OneDrive so you have all your documents available, syncing seamlessly. And having this available just means you don't have to worry about sending yourself any notes from your Scribe. It's all there, synced across your different accounts. You can also export a notebook directly to your OneNote account. With the latest Scribe Colorsoft, you can also set 2 pen colors so you can quickly switch between the two. This is really handy for anyone who likes to take notes in 2 colors and saves having to open up the full menu to make that switch. And the final one, assign a shortcut to your pen button to save you time. My choice here is always Lasso, because I love having that ability to select what I've written and do a quick delete, copy, or move. And that's 100. If even 3 of those were new to you, then that's still 3 more than you knew 15 minutes ago. I've got new content coming every single week, so subscribe for more. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.